So, I've been thinking about these recent hoaxes that have happened. The Woolwich hoax, where in Woolwich in England, an Islamic black man, was found guilty of beheading a soldier. Um, and it was quite strange. He had apparently he had been hit by a car. I don't know, this man, who they found out later on was actually from the army, had been hit by a car, and these two black men, of Islam, chased this white man who was a soldier, hit him with the car, jumped out immediately out of this half-moving vehicle, and caught up with this man and beheaded him. And there was no blood. And I know I've watched a couple of beheading videos because I just wanted to see what the hype was about. And there's quite a lot of blood. And it's not an easy thing to maneuver. There's quite a lot of muscle and quite a lot of cartilage in the neck, and it's not so easy to just chop off. So you really have to do a bit of kind of like you really have to hack away. Just and unfortunately there was no blood, so I'm not sure how that happened. So it's a hoax, and there, all the Spivvy, who is a blogger, says it's a hoax, and also another blogger called Tony Morris is also a YouTube video vlogger, says it's a hoax. I mean, quite a few people have sort of looked at the scene. There are quite a few videos out now explaining why these things are hoaxes. And usually around the time of these hoaxes, these laws and legislations are passed to protect the people, and usually against black people. So this is, a lot of that has been going on now. We see there are riots happening and marches happening in New York. There's another hoax in Sydney, and this hoax where apparently there were hostages taken. There was a whole siege of a coffee shop, I believe it was, a siege. And a lot of people were held against their will, and we all know what that feels like. It doesn't usually happen in coffee shops, but okay. And they're all white or sort of Mediterranean looking, so no black people there. So that won't affect us until some days later, when a mother and a family were brutally slain. Apparently, no, sorry, I said that wrong. The mother had gone and stabbed her children, all 8 of her children, and ranging from the first child, who was 15 months old, the baby of the family, who was 15 months, right up to the teenager, 15 or 18 months, and right up to a teenager who was 15 years. She had stabbed them all brutally for some unknown strange reason. And then I mean, I can tell you that she didn't do it. I mean, I can tell you that I don't know her, I've never met her. And more strange than that, she was Aboriginal, and she wasn't the sort of dark-skinned Aboriginals that live in the desert and drink whiskey. She was the light-skinned married into the white race, homogenizing, what do we call it, integrating kind of Aboriginal, who had 8 children in this nice little house, suburban, next to all the lovely white people. And then she just went crazy one day and killed all her babies. She just killed all, stabbed them all to death. And then she was later arrested, because apparently it has to be her. And that's what they do, these crazy women. And then later on, her husband or boyfriend was also arrested. I haven't heard anything from them. I know they were black because I could see the sorrow. Why white woman? There was a white woman was crying hysterically. The black woman could not even shed a tear. She was in such a state of shock and dissolution that all she could do was hold, her other family member. And it wasn't shock. I mean, it wasn't shock at what they had managed to have done or what was done. It was, how could they do this to us, and what does this have to do with us, and why is it that our families have to be destroyed? Whenever there is a crisis in the world with the Caucasian people, it just seems that somewhere or the other, black lives are destroyed or changed beyond the point that we are able to control. We don't see these things coming because we live in a world we're able to protect and take care of ourselves. We never imagined for 1 second that these laws and legislations are really, to sort of stamp laws that destroy us. And I've done so many sort of videos over the years, and beauty videos and videos on all sorts of things, and when you really come down to it, it's also just a smoke screen for what is actually really happening here, and it's just mass genocide of our people. And I want to say it's not just genocide of our people, because it happens, when white people are at their most desperate, when they're feeling like, they may not live another 10 or 20 years, and their children are all red-haired and recessive now. I mean, once you have red hair, it means your whole gene is recessive, yes? Your skin is now recessive, your hair is recessive, your genes are recessive. It's just a matter of time before you finally are completely, what's the word? Die off like the dinosaurs. Really, it's only so far that your genes can take you. And once you lose all the protection from your hair, your eyes, your skin, your nails, your DNA starts to break down, it's sort of the end of your species. And I feel like every year they realize more and more and more that the gene pool of the white man is facing the end, and they become more and more hysterical about it. And so they either find into fits of laughter, or they find into fits of destruction. And it's almost ludicrous now that they have not accepted that they're on their way out, and that's what happens to your genes. It goes through its phases, and then you die. And we all have to face death. But why do black people have to come to terms with it, in that we accept it in such a way that it's going to happen, and it happens to us all the time? It's this cycle of loss and death. Loss and death, and we face it in every home and every family that I have ever known. We have to face loss or death. We lose our families, or they die. We lose our families and they die. And this is not just through years and years of 80, 90, 100 years of life. Sometimes it's in puberty, sometimes it's in adolescence, sometimes it's in childhood, sometimes it's in walking down the street and someone shooting you. I mean, that's the reality of the situation that we have to face, as our people have to face now. And meanwhile, white people are doing everything they possibly can to keep their race at some sort of level where we are continually dying. It's hard for me to be conflicted in this situation. It's very easy for me to be biased towards my own. And so now I hear this Scottish nurse who traveled from Africa now has contracted Ebola. Where she got that from? The black people, who got it from the monkeys that we sleep with. And so now what's happened? Why are we sleeping with the monkeys? We're not. We're eating the monkeys. Do you understand? It's just always us with the monkeys, and they're supposed to be our family, and yet we're eating them now. We're eating the monkeys. We've gone from sleeping with them to eating them. And we're putting them in all our medicinal purposes, because we're medicine women, all of us. That's why our race is in the state we are. We're so highly healthy, because we're eating the monkeys. That's medicine for us. And this is sarcasm, really it is. I mean, I've never eaten a monkey in my entire life, and look at me, I'm black. And it's ridiculous that they're thinking that we're catching Ebola from that. Here I am, I'm walking around without Ebola. I haven't eaten any monkeys, and I haven't caught it. Ebola is airborne. It's an airborne disease that they made up in a laboratory from two viruses that they strung together from playing around with monkeys themselves, these scientists, these clever clods. And why is it hit Liberia? Why is it hit the liberated Africans? Why couldn't it have hit why couldn't it have hit anybody else? I'm sorry to say. Why is it always the liberated black people that you have to destroy? Why is it always the strongest black people you have to destroy? The ones that fought through slavery to find a home of their own, to find a mind of their own, a function of their own, that these are the people that we want to die? I don't want them to die. I want them to live. These are the people I want to live. Why are they the people that die? There's some horrible people in the world. Why aren't they dying? Why don't they use them as guinea pigs and test subjects? It's always the liberated black people. And here she is, this Scottish woman who went over there to save the black people from those monkeys that they've been eating. She catches Ebola and comes over here for treatment and takes the airplane like normal folk. What's she doing that for? If she really cared about the black people so much and she's over there trying to save them, would she have taken precautions? Apparently she took seven, count them, seven, lucky seven, temperature, whatever, control. She took her temperature 7 times. That's the lucky number. That means she's okay. She took it 7 times. And here she is coming back to this country with her Ebola that she caught from the black people and the monkeys. In a normal airplane, sitting opposite normal people, who then are breathing in her intoxicated, poisonous gases that she's fumigating in her stomach. They're from the black people, from the liberated countries of the world, with their Ebola disease, their monkey disease, Yeah, I mean, can I just point out that we are not in any way interbred with any sort of monkey? We don't have monkey in our blood. We just really don't have monkey in our blood. If we eat chicken, it don't mean we have chicken in our blood. You know what I mean? And the white people, I believe, they originally came from Sasquatch. No, is it Sasquatch? I believe so, right? And they were the I want to get my terminology right here, and I probably can't remember because this video is a frustrating thing to have to say, that they still believe that we are the monkey people and we're giving them monkey diseases. Yet, and still, they still have the part of their DNA is firmly linked with cave people. Cave people who are also some part monkey people. So that's not us, that's them. If we cut ourselves and we touch chicken, we still ain't part chicken. So therefore, I really don't know where these ignorances come from. And now they've passed new legislation to protect. I don't know who they're protecting, themselves against the black people. So when in future these kind-hearted Scottish, English people, Irish possibly, I won't say Irish, they're still gypsies, we still partly related, I will protect my family. But still, when they kind-hearted white people go off to the dark jet black world of Africa with all their Ebola and monkey diseases, and dare have a nerve to come back into this sanctuary, this white Eden, this fantasia, this fantasy of world-renowned beauty, this splendor. They got to be lost to protect the rest of them white people from these ignorant white people that go, to help these ignorant black people. Don't they know what we got? We got monkey disease. New laws are being passed. And I imagine these laws are to protect themselves from us. And when we come from Africa in the future, I imagine these laws that protect them from us will now apply to us. And so these laws that protect them from going to our country and bringing back diseases will now affect us when coming from our country into their country against diseases that we may carry in our blood from potential other animals that we've eaten or bedded with. And the Woolwich hoax, I imagine those laws that have now been passed counter terrorism against Islamic black people who fight jihad, or to fight in their own country against the tyrannical powers of white supremacy, will now be put in place. And these new laws in Australia against the Aboriginal people that they managed to have integrated because they thought that was the only way, will now protect white people against black people who seek to destroy their own family. And I'm saying there is a trend here. And when they are mad people, and I'm saying the Caucasians have always been mad. And the part of their DNA that they were able to take from these ancient cavemen that have given them rise to this great line, manipulative sod of a human beings are now being used against the most ancient people on the planet. And I hate to be racist, but it's hard for me not to be biased. I don't want to be racist. I don't believe I can be racist, because I believe, like all people are all people, but I'm beginning to realize that not all people are all people. There are separate species on this planet, and there's one species in particular that really don't like us. And they're out to destroy us. And they're using these new laws by creating these hoaxes around which they build new laws and legislations to kill, torment, and torture us to death. It's not right. And people have to know these things. And they have to keep it in mind every time you see a person walk down the street, and every time you hear another hoax. What's behind the hoax? It's not really who is in front of you anymore, is it? It's who's behind you.